At exactly 6:13 p.m., in a dust-covered auto shop off Route 12, a Navy SEAL in civilian clothes stood silently as a 10-year-old girl wiped grease from her tiny fingers and twisted the final bolt on his roaring engine. He blinked in disbelief. "Who taught you that?" She simply pointed to her father, the broken man behind her. 20 minutes later, a blacked-out limousine pulled up. A billionaire woman stepped out, heels echoing like judgment. But what she did next, change there, lives forever. Let's begin. The evening sun bled orange across the horizon, casting long shadows inside Miller and Daughter's auto repair, a rusted garage barely clinging to its dignity on the edge of a forgotten Texas town. Inside, sweat dripped from the brow of Ethan Miller, 38, a single father whose life had been sandpapered down by bills, heartbreak, and the endless churn of hard luck. He grunted, twisting under a lifted Dodge truck, trying to save what little dignity he had left. His boots were split, his knuckles bloodied, but his eyes, those stormy grey eyes, still burned for one reason: Harper, his 10-year-old daughter. That same daughter, standing barely 4 feet tall, wore a faded Ford Tough cap, too big for her head. She wasn't coloring or watching cartoons. No, Harper was elbows deep inside a Navy SEAL's Forerunner, tracing wires, adjusting a stubborn alternator, and talking to the machine like it was her old dog. The SEAL, Logan Pierce, 41, tall, rugged with scars that stories couldn't tell, watched silently. He hadn't expected much when his engine gave out 20 miles past nowhere, but the girl, she worked like someone who listened to engines breathe. She was gentle but firm, decisive yet patient, a paradox in pigtails. "You sure she knows what she's doing?" Logan asked Ethan, arms crossed. Ethan gave a weary nod. "Sometimes I think she came out holding a torque wrench." Just then the engine kicked to life with a satisfying vroom, smoother than it ever had before. Logan blinked. "No way." Harper dusted off her hands and smiled. "She was just scared. You gotta treat her like she's family." Logan laughed, a deep, quiet chuckle he hadn't used in months. "You're something else, kid." Ethan walked up behind her, proud but trying to stay humble. "No charge. Just glad you made it safe." Logan's brows furrowed. "Why wouldn't I pay?" But before Ethan could answer, the air shifted, a soft whir of tires on gravel. A black limousine pulled up to the edge of the lot. Its mirrors gleamed like obsidian. The back door opened. Heels hit the ground first. Out stepped Sienna Voss, 40, billionaire CEO of Voss Dynamics. Dark navy pantsuit. Hair pulled back like she owned time, lips pressed in determination, and cold, sharp eyes that instantly scanned the garage as if it were beneath her. Logan's spine stiffened. "Sienna?" She ignored him and looked at Ethan. Then Harper. "You fixed his engine?" Harper nodded slowly. "Yes, ma'am." Silence. And then a slow, unexpected smile broke across Sienna's face. "Get in, both of you. We're going for a ride." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Ma'am, I don't know who you think—" "You saved the wrong man," she interrupted, her voice low and commanding. "But the right people noticed." Logan stepped forward. "Sienna, what are you doing?" She didn't blink. "Making things right, for once." Harper's small hand reached for her father's, and as the door opened wider, the line between ordinary and extraordinary blurred forever. The inside of the limousine smelled like vanilla leather and secrets. Harper's wide eyes darted from the starry ceiling to the mini-fridge, then to the touchscreen embedded in the armrest. Ethan, meanwhile, sat stiffly, calloused hands resting on grease-streaked jeans, body tense like he was ready to leap out. If needed, Sienna Voss didn't speak for the first 10 minutes. She simply studied them. Logan rode shotgun with the driver, glancing back occasionally, concern etched on his weathered face. Ethan broke the silence. "Ma'am, I appreciate the gesture, but we're not exactly—" "I know exactly who you are, Mr. Miller." she cut in, eyes still forward. Gulf War mechanic, honorable discharge. Your wife passed 5 years ago. You've been raising Harper alone ever since, running that garage on fumes. Ethan's jaw clenched. You run background checks on everyone who fixes your friends. A car. She finally looked at him. I run background checks on potential assets. Harper shifted uncomfortably. I'm not sure what that means. Sienna's tone softened just a notch. It means I've been looking for people like you, people who still give without expecting anything in return. The limousine slowed, turning down a long driveway lined with trimmed hedges and ornate lamps. At the end stood a mansion, not a home, a statement, 3 stories tall, stone arches, glass walls, fountains. It looked like it had never known failure. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Why are we here? Logan answered this time. You're not being punished, Ethan. Just trust the process. As they stepped out, the staff was already lined up at the steps, clean uniforms, straight posture. But every eye was on Harper, the tiny girl in oversized boots, holding her father's hand like a lifeline. Sienna led them through a grand hall with marble floors that echoed every step. Portraits of founders and leaders hung above them like watchful ancestors. Your daughter fixed a high-tier military engine with tools from a dying garage, Sienna said. Do you understand how rare that is? Ethan narrowed his eyes. She's gifted, sure, but she's a prodigy, Sienna snapped. And this country eats prodigies alive when they come from the wrong zip code. She stopped at a sleek glass elevator. Her expression softened as she turned to Harper. Do you want to learn things no one else your age even knows exist? Harper's eyes lit up. Like how to build solar engines. Sienna knelt slightly. Like how to revolutionize them. Ethan stepped forward, protective. What's the catch? No catch, Sienna said. But there is a cost, and you'll have to decide if you're willing to pay it. He stared into her eyes. And what exactly are you offering? Sienna stood tall again. A new life. For her. For both of you. Full sponsorship, education, housing, access. I want her at Voss Institute for Applied Engineering. Harper clutched Ethan's arm. Dad, I can still see you every day, right? His heart broke and swelled at once. She didn't want distance. She wanted dreams. But with him. He nodded slowly. I'm not letting her go alone. Sienna's lips curved slightly. Good. Because you're hired too, head of on-site mechanics. You start Monday. Ethan was speechless. For the first time in years, silence felt like hope, but not everything was golden. From the top of the grand staircase, a man watched. Slick hair, cold smile. Victor Ray, Sienna's COO, and the moment. His eyes landed on Ethan. They narrowed with quiet disdain. The gift came with shadows, and the price of kindness had just begun to show its weight. The Monday air carried tension like storm clouds just beyond the sun. Ethan adjusted his worn shirt collar in front of the glass doors of the Voss Institute for Applied Engineering, wondering if anyone inside had ever worked with a busted torque, wrench, or bled into the bolts of a rusted Chevy. Beside him, Harper skipped, not walked, through the marble lobby, her school-issued tablet already in hand, tiny fingers gliding across a digital blueprint of a solar-powered exosuit like she was sketching a cartoon. A receptionist smiled warmly. Mr. Miller, Ms. Harper, welcome to your new life. Those words felt heavy. Behind the smile, Sienna's promise had unfurled fast. Corporate housing near the facility, full health coverage, brand new tools Ethan hadn't even dreamed of touching, and Harper in classes taught by former NASA engineers and robotics prodigies. But beneath the polished surface, cracks were forming. Ethan could feel them. The first came at lunch. Hey, Harper, a boy called across the campus cafeteria. Trey Voss, Sienna's nephew, 9 years old, jacket with the Institute's golden logo, and entitlement stitched into every word. Heard you grew up in a garage. You eat food off tires too? Harper blinked. What? Trey laughed. Or do you still fix cars with Legos? A few kids snickered. Harper's face fell. not from embarrassment, but confusion. She hadn't been taught cruelty. Not yet. Ethan saw it from across the room. He dropped his tray without a word, stormed over, and knelt beside her. "You okay, kiddo?" She nodded, blinking hard. "He said I don't belong here." Ethan looked, up, voice calm, but razor-edged. "Then he's scared. Because you do. You earned this." Harper looked into her dad's eyes, then nodded. "Okay." But the encounter didn't go unnoticed. That night, as Ethan organized his new workbench, polished, spotless, too sterile for his taste, Victor Ray walked in. He didn't knock. He didn't smile. "You've made quite an impression," Victor said, voice like cold steel, "and not all of it good." Ethan didn't flinch. "I don't care what the suits think. My daughter's learning. That's all that matters." Victor stepped closer. "This isn't a charity, Mr. Miller. This is an empire. And empires don't run on kindness. They run on control." Ethan turned slowly, locking eyes. "If control means stepping on a 10-year-old who fixed a SEAL's engine with a socket and hope, then maybe your empire's built on the wrong damn fuel." Victor's smile vanished. "Watch yourself." "I always do." The tension simmered. Victor left, but something had changed. That night Harper couldn't sleep. She climbed onto the couch, curled up beside her dad, and whispered, "Why don't they want us here?" Ethan wrapped an arm around her. "Because they've never had. To fight for a place. You did. That scares them." "But I don't want to scare anyone," she mumbled. "You don't have to," Ethan said softly. "You just keep building. Let the rest tremble." 3 weeks passed, and then came the test. A public challenge, a yearly showcase, broadcast, online. All students, from youngest to postdocs, competed in solving real-world engineering dilemmas. Live, under pressure, Harper was the youngest to ever qualify. Victor Ray was furious. He pulled strings. Assigned her the toughest category, adaptive engine optimization using microsolar transfer, something even college grads avoided. But Harper didn't flinch. She stayed up every night with Ethan in the garage behind their quarters. They designed, tested, failed, rebuilt. She cut her hand once, and Ethan patched it with duct tape and a kiss on the knuckle. "You sure you want to do this, kiddo?" he asked, watching her solder tiny wires. "I don't want to win," she whispered. "I want them to stop pretending. I don't belong." Ethan looked away to hide the lump in his throat. "Then we show 'em together." And when test day arrived, the lights were bright. The cameras rolled. The auditorium was packed, but only one person's eyes mattered to Harper, the man standing at the back of the crowd in a borrowed shirt and oil-stained boots, smiling like she was the only thing in the world worth watching. And then she stepped forward. The spotlight hit her tiny figure like a punch of gold, but Harper Miller didn't flinch. Her project, a shoebox-sized adaptive engine, sat beside her on a titanium stand. Wires coiled like nerves. Micro-panels gleamed under the light. The audience murmured, some amused, some skeptical. She was 10. This wasn't a science fair. This was Voss Tech Showcase, where PhDs bled to be seen. Sienna Voss sat in the front row, arms folded, expression unreadable. Beside her, Victor Ray, jaw tight. He leaned to whisper, "This is a mistake." Sienna didn't look away. "We'll see." The timer began. Harper inhaled and started to speak, voice soft but steady. "This prototype uses variable solar absorption based on environmental humidity. Most microengines fail because they rely on a static transfer rate. But mine," she turned to the machine, "adapts in real time." The screen behind her lit up with simulation graphs. Her tiny fingers flipped switches. The prototype hummed. A panel rotated. The gears spun silently. And then, lights off. Total blackout. A gasp rippled through the crowd. A judge stood. "Power failure?" "No, it was planned." From the ceiling, a sensor triggered. Harper's engine kicked to life, powered only by the glow of the emergency exit signs. On the screen, numbers surged. "Still running," she said, "because real problems don't wait for full sun." The silence was thunderous. Then came the roar. People jumped to their feet. Even the judge panel, former DARPA engineers, NASA consultants, professors, stood stunned. Harper blinked. "May I go sit down now?" the moderator stammered. "Yes. Yes, thank you, Ms. Miller." She walked off stage like she'd just returned a library book, but behind that composure was fire. Backstage, Ethan crushed her in a hug. "You did it, kid." She buried her face in his chest. "I just wanted them to stop laughing." "They're not laughing now." That night, a banquet followed. Champagne flutes, silver trays, too much perfume, too many fake smiles. Sienna took the mic. Tonight's showcase revealed something rare: grit, genius, grace under pressure. She looked directly at Harper. "I've decided to fund a new initiative," she announced. "The Miller Project, a full research wing led by emerging youth engineers, inspired by the brilliance of one girl who proved what matters isn't. Age but vision." Applause erupted. Ethan swallowed back emotion, but not everyone clapped. Victor Ray's face was stone. Hours later, as the party fizzled out and Harper dozed in her father's lap, Sienna approached Ethan on the balcony. "She's not just rare," she said. "She's dangerous to the way things have always worked." Ethan nodded. "Good. You have enemies now," she added quietly. "People who don't want the garage-born girl outshining their legacy." Ethan stared at the stars. "Then they should have worked harder," she smiled. "You've changed things, Ethan, but change always comes with cost." As if on cue, the doors burst open behind them. A breathless assistant sprinted out. "Ms. Voss, the lab 4. Someone triggered the fire suppression. The Miller prototype is—" Sienna turned to Ethan. "Go!" He ran. The lab was chaos, smoke, sprinklers, sparks, security guards scrambling. Harper's project, her heart in machine form, lay on the floor, soaking wet. Parts cracked, boards fried. Ethan dropped to his knees, his fists clenched. Someone had done this, and he knew exactly who. Victor Ray stood in the shadows by the far wall. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He just watched. Ethan stood, and, with a quiet rage, walked toward him. "You think that'll stop her?" Ethan asked, voice low. Victor smirked. "She's a child. This is a world of wolves." Ethan leaned in. "Then she's got one raising her." Victor's expression darkened. "I'll make sure you both regret this." But Ethan's voice was steel. "You already regret not finishing the job." Back at home, Harper curled in bed, silent. Ethan sat beside her. "They broke it," she whispered. "They broke a thing," he replied. "Not you." Tears slipped from her eyes. "I don't want to go back." He looked away, jaw tight. "Then we rebuild. And next time, we don't ask to belong. We prove they can't keep us out." And in that moment, through heartbreak, sabotage and fire, the real transformation began, not in gears or engines, but in Harper. She wasn't just brilliant now, she was ready. Harper didn't speak much the next morning. She sat at the tiny workbench in their corporate apartment garage, just her, a soldering iron, and a cardboard box of ruined parts. The smell of burnt circuitry still clung to her hands, but her focus never broke. Ethan brewed stale coffee, watching from the corner. "You okay?" She nodded once. "I'm fixing it. Better this time. No one's breaking it again." He didn't press. He knew that tone, that fire. It was his, just smaller, sharper, more dangerous. Across campus, Victor Ray was already planting seeds, pushing whispers that Harper's success had been exaggerated, that Ethan was using sympathy to climb. But what he didn't count on was Sienna Voss. She held a press conference that same afternoon. Harper and Ethan were absent, too busy rebuilding. "I've seen brilliance," Sienna told the cameras, "but I've never seen what I saw in that little girl. Not just talent, resilience. Voss Dynamics stands by the Millers, fully. Victor was in the crowd, fuming, quiet. 2 days later, Harper walked into the lab again. Same spot, same crowd, same lights, but this time she rolled out something new. A rebuilt model, smaller but sleeker. And when she powered it on, it flew. Working micro-drone, powered by adaptive solar coils. The judges didn't even pretend to stay calm this time. Ethan watched from the back, arms crossed, a rare smile tugging at his lip. Logan Pierce was beside him, arms folded. "She's got more fight in her than I've seen in entire teams," Logan muttered. Ethan nodded. "She's just getting started." Victor tried once more. He offered Harper a transfer to another lab, tried to limit her access to parts, even had their apartment reviewed for violations. But Sienna shut it down fast, publicly and privately. She fired him. It was quiet, cold, permanent. Weeks later, Harper stood in front of a crowd again, but not as a student. She was announced as the youngest advisor to Voss Dynamics' Innovation Board. She didn't smile on stage, she just spoke. "This isn't about age or money," she said. "It's about being given the chance to prove what's possible." She looked at her dad in the front row. "He gave me that chance. I just didn't want to waste it." The crowd applauded. Ethan had never cried in public. Until that day. Back at home that night, Harper placed something in her dad's hands. A small metal gear, inscribed on the side, "We start here." He looked at her, confused. "I'm building my own lab," she said. "Not in their building. In ours." Ethan laughed softly. "Kid, are we ready for that?" She smirked. "We've always been ready." They just caught up, and outside their garage, through sweat, sabotage, and one girl's refusal to be ignored, a new light turned on, and this time no one could shut it off.